Was George Floyd's murderer a registered Democrat? Well, let's look at the evidence coming up next on your congressional briefing.
My name is Matthew Heines. I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran of the 82nd Airborne. I took the oath, and I'm here to defend my state.
Hello, everybody. I'm Matthew Heines, and I'm running for the United States Congress in Washington State. I'm running in the 1st Congressional District, so if you want to vote for me and you live in Whatcom, King, Skagit, or Snohomish counties, please do so. Otherwise, please hit that subscribe button, like, and get these videos as I release them. Now, I just want to update you on some information. Last week, I went out to a demonstration where I was basically assaulted by public school teachers, verbally abusing me, and after I identified myself as a political candidate. So I will be filing a complaint with the Superintendent of Public Instruction against these individuals because people like this should not be teaching in our public schools. Right now, your kids' school teachers are out fomenting violence and racial hatred, and it needs to come to a stop. So please keep posted by subscribing and leaving comments on these videos. All right, so let's get to the topic of the day. The topic of the day has to do with a question that I asked a few days ago of myself, and that is, what is the voting record of the murderer of George Floyd, and wouldn't that be something if he turned out to be a Democrat? Well, as I looked closer, or more closely if you're into grammar, then what I found was a little bit interesting. So I want to share that with you right now. So let's just take a look at an article that was printed or written for the Orlando Sentinel, and let's just go up here and, okay, headline says, lawyer says ex-Minneapolis officer Derek Chauvin illegally voted in Florida, asks Aramis Ayala to pursue charges. Now, a man running for election supervisor in Pinellas County is asking Orange Osceola State Attorney Aramis Ayala to pursue charges against Derek Chauvin, the Minneapolis ex-cop accused of killing George Floyd, alleging he voted illegally into Florida elections. How did he know that? Dan Helm, a Democrat and attorney, sent Orange Osceola State Attorney Aramis Ayala a letter notifying her of Chauvin's voting record. Now, how did he get his voting record? While living in Minnesota, working there, paying taxes there, Derek Chauvin cannot claim residency in Orange County. His home residency and where he intends to live is in Minnesota, not Florida, Helm wrote. His letter cites the Florida statute prohibiting false swearing and the submission of false voter registration information, adding that violation of the statute is a third-degree felony. I encourage you to hold people accountable for their actions, especially breaking the laws of our state, Helm wrote. In an emailed statement, a spokesperson from the state attorney's office said the supervisor of elections is responsible for launching investigations into voter fraud and election crimes, apparently not attorneys running for office. Ayala's office contacted Bill Cowles, Orange County Supervisor of Election, who confirmed Chauvin's voting registration and history. So, nowhere in here does it allege that he is a Republican. Upon receipt of information from a Minnesota authority that supports a violation of Florida law, we will proceed accordingly, the statement said. Until then, I will remain focused on the unrest in my community triggered by Mr. Chauvin's killing of George Floyd and work to find a solution to the systemic injustice communities of color continue to live with and die by. So, a search of Chauvin's voter status in Florida shows he registered to vote Republican in Orange County at his Windermere address in January 2016. His registration is active. Election records show he voted in the 2016 and 2018 general elections. In a phone interview, Helms said he researched Chauvin's voting record after learning he owned property locally. When he saw Chauvin had voted in Florida, he was outraged, he said. Okay, it's a third-degree felony. I just hope that Ayala investigates it and then decides whether she wants to prosecute. All right, so the whole issue here is this guy a Democrat? Now, in this article, it says that he registered to vote Republican. Okay, no problem there. So let's go look at an article in the New York Post, which is from yesterday. The first article was 3 days ago. In this article, the ex-cop charged with murder, Derek Chauvin, illegally voted in Florida before George Floyd death, lawyer alleges. The ex-cop charged with murder for kneeling on the neck of George Floyd illegally voted in Florida elections while living in Minnesota. A lawyer alleged on Friday, attorney Dan Helm sent a letter containing the voting record of ex-cop Derek Chauvin to Orange County Osceola State Attorney Aramis Ayala asking her to pursue charges. The Orlando Sentinel reported. While living in Minnesota, working there, paying taxes there, Derek Chauvin cannot claim residency in Orange County. His home residency and where he intends to live is in Minnesota, not Florida, wrote Helm, who was running for election supervisor role in Pinellas County. Chauvin's court papers list his residence as being in the city of Oakdale, Minnesota, a suburb of Minneapolis. The Minneapolis Police Department, where Chauvin worked when he fatally kneeled on Floyd's neck during an arrest, does not require its officers to hold a residence in the city, according to its website. The Minneapolis Police Department had a residency requirement for its officers, which was removed in 1999. A bill called the Stanek Residency Freedom Bill was signed into law by then-Governor Jesse Ventura, prohibiting municipalities in the state from requiring residency for employment, according to MinPost.com. Okay, so there are the two stories. What's the difference between the two? In the first story, he's listed as voting as a Republican, as a registered Republican. In the second story, in the New York Post, who would have headlined the story with him being a Republican, a Trump Republican, whatever they could do to associate Trump with this, they would have done it. But in the second story, there's no mention of him voting as a Republican. So my question to you is this. Based on what we've seen of what Democrats do and how they operate, they will commit a crime and then they will turn around and accuse their accuser of committing the same crime. It's the same MO they've been using for years, and it's really getting old. So is this guy a Democrat? And if he is a Democrat, well, let's look at some of the other evidence. Okay, so it said that he voted illegally. Now, how many cops do you know that would knowingly commit a felony, lose their job, their pension, everything, in order to just vote illegally? And who historically votes illegally? Is it Republicans or is it Democrats? No, I think as we look deeper into this, and I'm just giving you a warning now, that it is probably going to come out that Derek Chauvin is a registered Democrat. Now, along with all of that, we also have found out that there are a number of other things in this story that have not really been reported. Number one, that, and this is not taking away nothing of the tragedy that happened to George Floyd. He did nothing to merit this, but he had twice tried to pass counterfeit money, and that was why the police had been called. At one point, he had pistol whipped a pregnant woman, stuck a pistol in her stomach, and held her at gunpoint while his buddies ransacked her house. So there are also allegations that he had certain toxic substances inside of his system. And so things that are unraveling now are really leading to the fact that this is really not what people have said. And I think that when people find out the truth, as they're starting to do, and that all of this was instigated by the media that's trying to stir up both sides, there is going to be a huge backlash against the media. And I would not be surprised to see some television stations, CNN, MSNBC, these places, not Fox, I don't know about Fox, but the ones perpetuating these lies. I would not be surprised if these are the centers of the next round of looting and rioting. So anyway, I hope not. I want you guys to keep it safe. Let's love each other. My thing is to bring everybody together. You can't destroy people's businesses, because without businesses, we've got no government. And to think that you're going to eliminate the police departments in cities is insane. What I'm going to propose is that if you want to have a police-free city, then establish a police-free zone, and people have to vote for that, but you can't force that on people. And we can have experimental, projects, and we can see how that works. And if it works, and my thing has always been, good people, less government. Bad people need more government. So, well, that's your daily briefing for today. And you guys keep it peaceful, keep it safe out there. And please stay in touch with this story and with my story about these teachers that are getting paid to foment hate and unrest. So we'll see you next time on our next briefing.
My name is Matthew Heines. I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran of the 82nd Airborne. I took the oath, and I'm here to defend my state.
Congressman Susan DelBene has been in office since 2012. Using her substantial financial resources, thanks to Microsoft, and her $84 million fortune, she has been able to continually maintain an office where people still have little idea what she's done. Well, she's learned to dance around, and she's learned to do all the political maneuvers you have to do to keep getting reelected. Well, Susan DelBene, it's time for you to go.